Boy, was that something. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome back to ThePear. We've just come off with a fresh result of defeating the Eagles by 25 points. 26 points it was actually at the Adelaide Oval. Unfortunately, I wasn't there due to physical inabilities, and obviously it was a wet day. And yeah, it was one of those games that you just knew from the outset this was just not going to go the way that we all wanted or anticipated or thought, oh, we're going to pump them. Nah. No, we clawed our way back, and it was a stressful, hard watch. My eyes were bleeding, along with the commentary that was Dermot Brereton and Mark Rasciuto were also also bleeding from the ears. So it was a very, very hard, tough watch. And yeah, I'm just glad we got the job done. This is one of those ones where you just take the 4 points, you move on, and you go and you go into next week. Obviously, it's a short turnaround. I have a funny feeling next week will be a very, very light training session. Just with the amount of sore bodies we got out of this game. We saw Josh Sin go down late. Aliir was basically on one leg, and Connor Rosie's finger got subbed out. I hope that was precautionary, but we will wait and see. Not good for the skipper, but yeah, look, it was one of those games where you just had to rely on very few to get the job done, and Zach Butters stood out from the outset, had 14 touches in the first quarter, and was just sensational for the rest of the day. His work around the clearances was phenomenal. He had 38 in the end. He kicked 21 of those, and it was absolutely fantastic. It took a while for people to come with him. I look at the stats at the moment. They got him in front of me. Horn Francis was, following behind suit, and he really stood up in the second quarter onwards. He had 27 and kicked 3 goals. Was fantastic around the contest, and 620 metres gained to go with that as well. And there was a passage of play in the second quarter that he really lit up the ignition and had 5 or 6 touches within that passage of play. So he was phenomenal. And then Joe Richards as well. He 2 goals, 23 touches. He was clunking a few marks. He was really setting up the play. He was looking really good. He was part of a lot of chains. And, those 3 were probably the difference between them and us. I look at around and people had their little patches. Ollie Wines, I thought his second half was phenomenal. He had 10 clearances, Ollie. I think he had an underrated game. People look at the stats and go, 25 and 10 clearances, 4 tackles. I think Ollie's notion is always to be the in and under, the underappreciated work, and really helps out the likes of Butters and Horn Francis and Rosie when he's in there, Bergman, who had to play back for a little while. And yeah, I thought his game was just very underrated, Ollie Wines. And the same with, I thought Manny Liddy's performance today was very, very good. Found space where there was none often. It was really, really nice to see him getting a full game and was a really, really productive around the ground, which was good. Darcy Byrne-Jones in the forward half. He had a lot of pressure acts, I thought, especially in the second half when we started to turn it on. And yeah, he was phenomenal. Kicked 2 goals as well, 2 crucial goals. Obviously the goal in the second quarter from that passage of play I was talking about with Horn Francis, and then another one late in the game, which put us back in front, which was good. So crucial moments. DBJ's goal, Trav Boak's goal, set shot. Everyone ridicules him for his set shots and his inability to kick goals at crucial moments. That was a crucial moment in time, and that led to the next 3 goals. Horn Francis's amazing goal from the pocket, which dribbled through anyone and everyone, and started a few melees. And there was a bit of spice in this game as well, which coming into this one, I didn't expect much of that. But Harley Reid, the youngsters of West Coast, full credit to them. They stood up, they put a fight in. They were everything their fans wanted this game to be, I think. And yes, they had a sniff of a victory, but I sit here and they'd be very, very happy with that performance. So full credit to West Coast. They brought the fight. Their first quarter was phenomenal. They made the most of our mistakes. I've never seen a team win so much clearance work and win, and have so many opportunities peppering the goal inside 50 in that third quarter, typical Port Adelaide fashion, then go down the other end and West Coast kick a goal. We had moments where this game could blow out massively. Georgiades kicks 3 goals 5, very easily. He had set shots where that could have been, 6 goals 3, or, he kicked one out in the full as well. So he's he's getting us so many shots on goal and 3 goals 5. He'll want to work on that. Because when it comes to crucial moments in games, whether it's this year or next year and years to come, he'll want to really be able to make sure he's taking full advantage of that, Mitch, and he's getting so much space, so much opportunity, and he's really taking that. And I really hope that as he develops, he's doing this and he's second in the Coleman. He could be leading the Coleman medal by so much. And you know what? And I won't put that much pressure on him, but certain shots on goal in certain moments in the game, there's opportunity where he could be putting us in a much better position. So a lot to work with Mitch, but he's been fantastic. And I think, to hold your head high the most is Zach Butters. I talk about how crucial it is when Rosie goes down. Rosie went into the midfield halfway at the start of the second half and was really prolific in there, I thought, and they were working in tangent together. Him, Butters and Horn Francis and Wines were all going really, really well in there for that passage of play leading up to where Rosie hurt himself. So hopefully that's not too bad, but Butters, 38 touches, 550 metres gained, 6 marks. He was a link-up. He was getting clearance work, 7 clearances in total. He was just in their face. He was manipulating their minds, and that's the antagonist that he is. Zach's ability to work the mind of the opposition, and that was a crucial point because they started to go into their shells. They were thinking, all right, we worry about the man more than the ball, and they started to worry about that more than the actual game itself. And yeah, I think it was inevitable before we broke them. It's just Zach Butters' point of call, really, that he was the reason he's getting a 3-vote game very easily. There's no one else that comes close. And yeah, you look at the last quarter. What the thing is, it means so much to him. And I think that's where the drawing card is for fans as well. It means so much to us, and seeing him take the full brunt of it and really taking it on himself to carry this team, put him on the shoulders when we're struggling it deserves a pat on the back. It deserves acknowledgement. Because when I sit here as fans, we're sitting here going, you know what, our team's won, and thanks, Zach. That's the integral part of it all. So very pleased with that and very happy with how we ended up winning. And that's the only positive about it, really. So, overall, this is a game where 30,000 people attended. It was wet, it was cold, it was gross, it was hard to watch, yet you find ways to win games, and we did that. And I think we take this one, we go into next week against the Hawks. And I know we're mathematically still possible to make finals, and I will be the optimist here because I know there's so many pessimists, and I have such a pessimistic side as well. So, mathematically still possible, but I'm not going to say, well, we're a chance. Season's done, obviously, but it's nice to take a win, come out of the weekend, and I think the stress of thinking, far out, we're actually going to lose this game, turned into, thank God we've won, and that's such a better feeling. And personally for me, it's been a difficult week, and I'm always open and honest about my mental struggles and everything. And it's been a tough week, dealing with an Achilles injury, dealing with so much that's happening in life. To come out of a weekend where your team wins, that's the basic of it, and that's what I love. You'll see so many social comments say, oh, you just beat West Coast, you're celebrating like you won a flag, this and that. No, it means a lot to us. It's actually an integral part of our weekend. It's a feeling that we have, being Port fans, being footy fans, and you celebrate that. So, I'm just proud of the boys for winning their way over the line, and it was gutsy, considering how dull it looked early. Well, there you have it, Port fans. That is my review of West Coast. We live and let live, and we move on from this terrible, terrible game that we witnessed, and we get into next week against the Hawks, which is a big, big game. But I'm looking forward to previewing that. For now, soak it all in, and enjoy a Port Adelaide win. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the game. Can't wait to hear all about your favourite players of the weekend and everyone that chimed in well. And looking for the superstar performance, and credit to Zach Butters and Horn Francis too. 3 goals, and they were good ones too, so we take it on board. But thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. My name's Anthony, and as always, can't the pair.